Okay, so almost 24 participants are here. So today's session is completely depend upon the revision which we have studied in 11th standard. It's regarding client-side script, that is JavaScript. Okay, we have already studied this JavaScript in 11th standard, how we can write a program in JavaScript, why we are going to write a JavaScript, or why we are going to embed JavaScript in HTML. That we have already studied in 11th standard. We are just revising it because in 12th standard we are going to study advanced part of JavaScript. But I know very well that you have forgotten all the things that you have studied in 11th standard. No sure. Okay, so here is JavaScript. Yes, here is a JavaScript first. Yeah, in 11th standard, what we studied, it starts from here 3.11 introduction. Now, first of all, we must know why we are using JavaScript in HTML, or why we are going to embed JavaScript in HTML. So see, the HTML, pure HTML is used to create a static web page. A static web page means there is no responsive things, there is no dynamic effects, there we can't calculate, or we can't do any calculation. So it can be said as a static. Static web pages or static websites are used to define or design only, not flexible website. Okay, it doesn't have any dynamic effects like the changing of color on moving a mouse pointer on a particular element. You can't see slider moving at the top section of a web page. Okay, it purely, we can say that we can see content with the text and images on a web page. Okay, that things we can do in a pure HTML. But suppose you want to make a live your web page, suppose you want to make flexible your web page, suppose you want to make dynamic your web page, then we have to use JavaScript, or we have to embed JavaScript in a program. Okay, now tell me, can you see the slide? It's a PDF document of 11th standard. Can you see it on a screen? Yes, give me reply in a chat box. It's a pure a PDF file. Okay, chapter number 3 of JavaScript in 11th standard. Can you see it on slide? Yes, can you see the slide on screen? Okay, yes. So see, what we have studied, that JavaScript is used to make dynamic our web page, to make live our web page. Now, what is the scripting language? See, there are two type of scripting languages. Okay, we can say there are two types of scripting language. The first is a server side scripting language, and second is a client side scripting language. Okay, so we know that there are two types of scripting language, that is a server side scripting language and client side scripting language. Server side scripting language are used on server side, and client side scripting language works on client side. Now, what is server and what is client, that we have already studied in 11th standard. Server is a main computer on which all database or all websites we can place, and from client we can access the server. Client is a computer which has a basic configuration, and server is a highly configured computer. So these two computers is connected in a network. Now when client access any page or access any data from server, then a request from client sent to the server, and as per the request, server execute that request and send the desired output to client. Okay, this process is ongoing when you are accessing anything on internet, because internet is such a network in which server client configuration is used. Okay, now here we are going to study client side scripting language. Here we don't have to study server side scripting language. In 12th standard we are going to study PHP. That PHP is nothing but a server side scripting language, and JavaScript is a purely client side scripting language. So in client side scripting language, so here in client side scripting language, we are going to study JavaScript. But if you see, in client side scripting language, many scripting language are used just like a VB script. VB script can be also used for client side, and JavaScript is also used in client side. So here we are going to study JavaScript inside of VB script. Okay, so JavaScript is a scripting language used at client side. It stored data on client, it executes on client, and it gives result or display the output on client. Okay, these three things we have to consider when we are differentiating client side and server side configuration. Okay, in server side configuration, the all content is stored on a server, it execute on server, and it gives desired output on server. Okay, so that is called server side scripting language. Client side scripting language means in client we are saving or storing the script on client, we are executing that script on client, and we get the result on client. So this is the difference between the client side and server side scripting language. And what are the examples? In server side scripting language, you can consider PHP or CGI script, whereas in client side scripting language, we can consider JavaScript or VB script. Okay, so here is we are studying JavaScript. Now, JavaScript is a scripting language, as we are using some protocols taken from Java program. It is a not purely programming language. So there is a huge difference between the scripting language and a pure programming language. In pure programming language, in Java programming language, we require compiler. So see here, if you want to differentiate between the Java and JavaScript, there are huge difference between these two programming languages. This Java is a pure programming language, where JavaScript is not pure programming language. It is a scripting language, because some part, some syntax, some grammatical structure we are using from Java in a scripting language. The second important difference is that when we are using Java programming, then to execute that program, we require compiler. And when we are doing a program in a client-side scripting language like a JavaScript, then there is no requirement of special compiler. Browser itself work like a compiler, and it gives you output. Okay, so these all things we have already studied in 11th standard. We are just revising over here. Okay, so scripting language, if you want to write, suppose you want to write a scripting language, then we can embed this script in HTML inside body section or head section. Okay, inside head section or body section, we can embed this script. Now, how is the structure to embed any script inside the HTML program? So see here on screen, you can see at the right side, there is a box in bluish background. In bluish background, you can see doc type, which is the general structure of HTML, then the HTML tag. After that HTML tag, you can see the head section, then title. There is a written title first, then closing of title by using slash title, right? Next is body section. Body section start here, then script, language is equal to JavaScript. So if you want to embed or if you want to enter any script inside the body section, then there is a specific syntax that you have to follow. So what is the syntax? Yes, Joshi raised your hand. Yes, anything? Is any doubt? Okay. So script language is equal to JavaScript. So script, okay, script is a tag which is used to insert or embed any scripting language. Okay, so this is very important that if you want to insert any script in HTML program, then you can insert it either in a head section or the body section. So here it is shown both the process of both the. Here you can see in the first section and the first bluish background box, it is given that the script language is equal to JavaScript and a slash script. The script is enclosed inside the body section. It is embedded inside the body section. But in the second section, you can see the script is embedded or the script is enclosed inside the head section. Okay, so here you can see both the methods to insert script in a HTML. Either you can insert in a head section or you can insert it in a body section. Okay, so both things are possible. Okay, I will explain you later on when you have to enclose it inside the head section or when you have to enclose in the body section. Okay, so till now you just keep in mind that script tag you can insert either inside the head section or body section. Both are possible. Okay, so here it is shown script tag. Okay, script is a pair tag. Script is a container tag. So there is a slash script you have to write compulsory. Okay, so here you can see script tag starts. Here you can see script tag ends. Script tag always ends with this slash script. And here is an attribute we can use with the script tag, that is a language. So script language is equal to, here we are going to assign a value that which type of script we are using. If you are using VB script, then you have to write here VB script. If you are using JavaScript, then you have to write here JavaScript. Okay, so script and this attribute language decide that in which scripting language you are going to write the program or the script inside. Okay, so script language is equal to JavaScript and slash script. This is the method by which we can insert any JavaScript program in HTML. Okay, so what we have studied, there are two methods. By two methods, we can insert any scripting language either in a head section or the body section, and which is tag you have to use to insert or embed any scripting language, that is script tag. Okay, and which is the important attribute we have to use with the script tag, that is language. Okay, and value is JavaScript without any space. So always keep in mind, here you have to assign a value JavaScript without any space. If you are assigning here space, then you will not get a desired output. If you are missed here script or is you spell you are doing mistake in this spelling script, then you will not get output. Why? Because JavaScript is a case sensitive programming or scripting language. If you make a mistake, either you have to in spelling or you have you done a mistake in values, then it will not give you desired output. So your values as well as your tags as well as your content of JavaScript must be in proper manner. Where you have to use capital letters, you have to mention that in capital. Where you have to use in small letters, you have to mention in small letters. Okay, if you're doing mistake in there, then you will not get desired output. Okay, so always keep in your mind JavaScript is a case sensitive scripting language. Okay, why I am telling these sentences? Because in fill in the blanks, these sentences we already studied in 11th standard. Even though in 12th standard, these sentences are asked for true or false. Okay, in question number two, that is state true or false, these sentences are asked in 12th standard. So this revision is a very important when you consider the exam of final exam in 12th standard. So write these sentences wherever in notebook you have. Okay, or write these sentences in or the backside of your book. Okay, these sentences are very important. So first sentence, what we got, that script tag we can insert either in head section or body section. Second sentence we got, by using script tag we can insert any scripting language inside the HTML. And third sentence we got that, yes, what is the third sentence? Just a minute, scroll down. Okay, here we are. What is the third sentence? That your JavaScript is a case sensitive scripting language. Okay, so these are the three important sentences asked in true or false. Okay, now in scripting language, we have studied how we can insert a script. Okay, it is inserted by using script tag. Now here we are going to study variable. Okay, here is a variable. Now what is a variable? Variable means a basic unit of storage in JavaScript. Okay, here you can see the definition of variable. Variable is a basic unit of storage in JavaScript program. Okay, so variable means the value of which get changed frequently during execution of program. What is the technical definition of variable? Is this is a unit, this is a variable is an entity in which we can store multiple values. While executing the program, these values can be changed frequently. Okay, so this variable is nothing but like x, y. We are writing equations like x plus y is equal to 4. Sometimes we write equation like x square plus 2xy plus y square is equal to 0. Now what is x and y? Here x and y works like a variable. Here x and y works like a variable. So variables are such a thing in which we can store a value, and that values we can change at the execution time of program. Means when we execute a program, we can assign any value to x, we can assign any value to y, and we can find the result. Okay, so what is the variable? Variable is an entity in which we can store a value. Yes, Gaurish, you are frequently raising your hand. Joshi, you too. Yes, do you have any doubt? Do you have any question, Gaurish? Okay, so see here. So variable is an entity in which we can store a value. Now there is specific rule. There are specific rules to declare a variable. Okay, so first of all, you must know what is a declaring a variable. There are two concepts which we have to use with the variable. The first concept is a declaration and the second concept is a definition. Definition means what? We are storing some value to the variable. Just like a x is equal to 4. So if I say just I'm writing here, if I say x is equal to 4, here x is a variable and 4 is a value. I'm storing a value 4 to x, but computer must understand what is this x. If computer do not understand what is the x and what type of value we can store inside x, then computer will not store it. So before defining any variable, we must declare it. This is the basic concept of each and every programming language. This is the basic concept of each and every programming language. If you are using any variable in a program, then before definition of any program, you have to declare it first. Okay, so declaration always come before definition. Declaration always comes before definition. Definition means what? We are assigning value to any variable. It's called definition. And declaration means what? What type of value we can assign to variable, that is decided by declaration. Okay, so always differentiate the declaration and definition. How it is? We are assigning value to any variable, that is called definition. So this is the definition. And what is declaration? What type of value we can assign, what type of value we can store in variable, that can be declared by declaration, or that can be assigned by the declaration. Okay, while declaring any variable, while naming any variable, there are some specific rules. Now, what are these rules? When you are declaring any variable, you have to follow these rules. If you are not following any rules regarding variable, then you will get output, you will get error in output. Okay, now we'll go next page. Now here we can see the rules given for variable. So what are the rules? Okay, just concentrate over here because I'll ask questions regarding this variable rules. Okay, so first rule is that variable must start with an alphabet. What is the first point says? Variable name must start with alphabet. It means A9. You can say this is a valid variable name. Why? Because it starts with the alphabet. A1234. This you can say variable name, valid variable name. Why? Because it starts with the alphabet. Okay, so 93A. You can't say this is the variable because it doesn't starts with alphabet, it starts with the number. Okay, so first rule is that each and every variable must start with alphabet. Then it may be capital or it may be small. Second thing, okay, here alphabet means from A to Z. Any symbol just like a dollar sign, any symbol like a hash, that you can't consider as alphabet. So alphabet means A to Z. It may be capital or small. Now we'll come on the second point. What the second point says, uppercase and lowercase are distinct. This means that variable sum is not same as sum, capital sum. Okay, so as I said before that JavaScript is a case sensitive scripting language. It's always differentiate between the capital and small letters. In some programming language, if you write SUM in a small and SUM in a capital, both entities are considered as the same. In some programming or scripting language, if you are using HTML, as if you write this sentence with the SUM, then it will be considerable. Okay, but when you are writing a scripting or when you're writing a program in a JavaScript, then you have to differentiate between the capital letters and small letters. If here you are using x is equal to 4, and if I ask if I ask the computer if I ask the computer what is written inside the x. Okay, here I am using x is equal to 4, and here I am asking x is equal to what computer will give me answer? Yes, tell me what answer computer will give me. Yes, my question is that if I say x is equal to 4, and if I ask x is equal to then what will the result given by this program in JavaScript? Yes, Amol, Yogesh. The simple program, the simple question I have asked here, if x is equal to 4 and I ask the question in JavaScript, x is equal to so what computer will answer me? Amol says 4. Yes, Yogesh is there. Yogesh, Jasia. Yes, tell me what will be the answer? Only Amol is giving answer. Yes, Chaitrali is saying error. Okay, why Chaitrali it will give error? Can you say me? Tell me. Chaitrali is saying it will create an error. Why? Amol is saying 4, but Chaitrali is saying it will create error. Why? Yes, exactly, Amol. Okay, see what I have written. A small x is equal to 4, and here I am going to ask capital X is equal to what? I haven't assigned any value in capital X. I have assigned value in small x. Okay, so small x is equal to 4 means the 4 value is stored in x, small x. And here the question is the capital X is equal to what? But I haven't stored anything in a capital X, so it will create error. So Chaitrali, you are right. So capital X and small x has a great difference in JavaScript. Okay, so JavaScript differentiate capital X and small x. So what the second point says that uppercase and lowercase are distinct. This means that the variable sums in small scale is not same as in capital letters sum. Okay, so this is about the second point. Now, third point says that it should not contain blank space. The third point says that, okay, the third point says that it should not contain blank space or special symbol except underscore. Okay, so special symbol you can't use, means dollar sign is there, hash sign is there, dot is there. You can't use any symbol except underscore. Okay, while naming variable, you can't use any symbol except underscore. So you have to write just like a underscore b is a valid. Okay, a or abc underscore 1234, this is right. Okay, but
स्क्रीन कसं गावलं आता रंगना ग्लेशियर ते आपण सेटच बरोबर कधी ना ती पण ती फुल अपग्रेड होती अपग्रेड नाही कशी गावली
go ahead and mute his mic. Okay, don't unmute your mic, it did disturb here. Okay, so abc underscore 1234, see, abc underscore 1234 is a valid variable name. But if I write here a at the rate 2, this is an invalid one. Okay, you can't assign variable name as a at the rate 2, because what the rule says that only underscore you can specify, or underscore you can insert in variable name. Without means except this underscore, you can't use any symbol while naming a variable. So a at the rate 2, a at the rate 2 is invalid. So this is not valid variable name, right? Now the third point says it should not contain blank space, means if you are using like this bg space c, and if you are going to store, if you are using this as a variable name, then this cannot be considered as a variable name, because the third point says that it should not contain blank space. Okay, so it should not contain blank space, or it should not contain any symbol except what? Underscore. Okay, so next point. Fourth point, standard keywords are not allowed as a variable name. Now, what are the standard keywords? Means in programming or in scripting, some words, which words are used as a fixed word. Like suppose if you want to check the condition in JavaScript, then you have to use word if. So if is a fixed word. If has a fixed meaning in JavaScript. Those words having specific meaning in JavaScript called as a fixed word. Those type of standard or fixed word or keywords you can't use as a variable name. Okay, so where is one of the fixed keyword which is used for specific purpose, and that where keyword you can't use as a name of variable. Then loop. This word has a specific meaning in JavaScript. Okay, you can't use as a name of variable. While this has a specific name, this has a specific meaning in JavaScript, you can't use this while statement or while as a variable name. Okay, so some names or some fixed keywords in JavaScript has a specific meaning in scripting language. So those meaningful keywords in JavaScript you can't use as a variable name. Okay, so fourth point says that standard keywords are not allowed as a variable name. For example, document, while, and so on. The fifth point says that the variable name can be limited up to 255 characters. This is the limitation given to number of characters you can use in a variable name. Means you can't use more than 255 characters in the variable name. Otherwise, it will consider as an invalid variable. So these are the five different rules you have to follow when you are giving any name to variable in a declaration. So what we are studying here, we are only studying the declaration of variable, means how we can declare a variable, how we can name the variable. Okay, and for the declaration purpose, we are using a special keyword called var. Means suppose you want to declare any variable, then you can do it by using a special keyword called var. So see this next sentence: variable name in JavaScript is declared with keyword var. Okay, means suppose I want to assign the 4 value 4 to the x, then first of all I have to declare it by using var statement. So what I have to write here, one sentence, that is a var x, small x. Okay, when I write the var small x, then x is a variable that you have to, that you are defining it to computer. Okay, you are explaining computer that we are going to use use the variable x, and this x is a variable. So var x, by using the var x, you are declaring that x is a variable. And here you are defining the variable using assignment of any value to variable. So here you are using x is equal to 4. It means the 4 value is assigned to x. So this is called declaration. Here is a declaration, and here is the definition. Declaration means to declare any variables, means to use any variable, or to declare a variable to computer, or to explain the variable to the computer, and here you are assigning the values by definition. Okay, so this is declaration, this is definition of variable. Okay, so these are the 5 rules that you have to follow. Okay, now I'll ask you question. I'll give you some example in a post chat box, and you have to answer it is a valid or invalid. Okay, so in chat box, I'll ask some variables. Is it valid or invalid? Here I'm giving x 1 2 5 6. So let me know this is valid or invalid, because this type of questions are asked in a 12th examination. Amol is saying valid, Siddesh is saying valid, good, Anushka, Chaitrali, Yash. Okay, good. All are saying yes, valid. Now, now tell me this valid or invalid. O underscore T underscore P. Hmm. Only Ritik is saying invalid. Other students are saying valid. So Ritik, you are wrong. Okay, it's valid, because without means except underscore we can't use any variable or any symbol. Okay, so you are wrong. O underscore T underscore P is the right answer. Right, it is a valid variable. 125 underscore OTP. Valid or invalid? Yes, exactly. Because variable always start with the alphabet. Okay, variable always starts with the alphabet. Okay, so 125 is a number. Here it starts with the number, so it is invalid. Right. Gaurish is saying invalid just post before posting my question. Yes, right. It invalid because dollar sign is there. Function, function. Can I use this variable? Function. It's valid or invalid? Got confused? Yogesh is saying invalid. Chaitrali is saying invalid. Rohan is saying invalid. Tanvi invalid. Rinsi invalid. Swarup invalid. Good. It is invalid because the function has a specific meaning in JavaScript. To define a function, to create a functions, we are using, or you to create a user-defined function, we are using the function as a specific keyword. Okay, so this specific keyword has a meaning in JavaScript, so we can't use it as a variable name. Very good. So function is a invalid name. Last one. Good. jktire.26 is not a valid variable, so it is invalid variable. Good. It means you understood how we can identify valid or invalid variable. Okay, so if in examination, if the question asks regarding this validity and invalidity of the variables, then you can answer it correctly. Good. Now next part we are going to study that. Okay, now we are going to study here how we can declare a variable. See, where where is a fixed keyword and next is the variable name. Then we can use the semicolon, right? Suppose there are number of variable you want to declare, means number of variable you want to use in your program, and you want to declare in a single sentence. They can you can use a comma to separate two variable names. Okay, here you can see variable and one single variable name you're using, and after that semicolon. So semicolon you have to use a over here. But the semicolon is optional. If you are not using the semicolon, you just press enter, then it will consider as the semicolon, you will get desired output. So this semicolon is optional. Okay, but in syntax, it is written as a semicolon to end any statement in a JavaScript, to end any sentence in a JavaScript. But now in all browsers, this semicolon is considered as a optional. Okay, you use it or you don't use it, you will get a desired output. Now the second thing is a variable declaration. It can be done by using number of variables in a single sentence. Just use a comma to separate two variable names. Okay, so how we can write here var x comma y means I am using two variable. I am declaring here two variables. I want to use the two variables in my program. Okay, so just by simple thing that var x or var x comma y, here I am going to define two different variable names. So comma is used to separate two variable names. For example, here are given examples. See here var a. Okay, here is the var a, and here is the var a comma b comma c. Okay, here we are going to declare one variable. Here we are going to declare three different variables by using a comma b comma c. After declaring the variable, here you can initialize or define by using equal to value. Z is equal to 10, y is equal to 100 means the 100 value is assigned to the variable y. Here 40 value is assigned to variable z. Right? So here is a declaration variable. We can declare variable by using var keyword. Okay, this is very important. This question is also asked in a final examination. The var statement is used to declare variable in JavaScript. So note down this statement. Var variable is used to declare variable in JavaScript. Okay, either it can be asked in fill in the blanks, it can be asked for MCQ1, it can be asked for straight true or false also. Okay, so this sentence is a very important. Where keyword is used to declare a variable in JavaScript. Clear? Okay, now the concept data types. Okay, whatever the value we are using to assign a variable. Now, before some time we have used x is equal to 4. Sometimes we have used z is equal to 40. Sometimes we have used y is equal to 100. Means this value is a number which we have assigned to variable. We can also assign a value like -3. We can also assign a value like 2.45 or 4.15. We can also assign a value like in double inverted comma mal1. Okay, we can also assign a value like 12/12/2020. Okay, means it's a date. We can also assign a value 2:35 p.m. There are different types, different datas we can assign to variable. Okay, so what are different data types? What are the types of data we can use in a computer language? That thing we are studying under data types. So there are various data types in JavaScript, but is broadly defined, differentiated in 2 to 3 types. The first data type is a number data type, means here we are going to assign a number to any variable. Then it may be in an integer type or it may be in the floating point number. Integer number means without any decimal point, and floating point number means with a dot, with the decimal point. Okay, we can also hold the value like a positive, just like a where y is equal to 1 lakh, or we can assign any negative value to the variable like where z is equal to -67.99. Okay, so both the things are possible. We can assign negative as well as positive value to any variable. We can assign any value, then it may be with the decimal point or without decimal point, we can assign the value. All these things come under number type. So number is the one of the type of data type that we can assign to variable. Now second type is a string type. String type means it's a set of alphabet. String means set of alphabet. We can assign a set of alphabets to any variable. But here you have to always keep in your mind that whenever you're going to assign a string to the variable, then it must be enclosed inside the double inverted commas. If you are assigning any values in form of string, then it must be enclosed either in by double inverted commas or the single inverted commas. So can you see here are two variables? Here we are going to assign a number and here we are going to assign a string. But while you're defining the number to this variable, we are not using double inverted or single inverted commas. But when we are using any string means set of alphabets, then the set of alphabets are enclosed inside the double inverted comma, either in double inverted comma or single inverted comma. Okay, so here is a where x is equal to in double inverted comma hello. Here we are using where str is equal to in single inverted comma information technology. Okay, so when you are going to assign any string, when you are going to assign any set of alphabets, when you are going to assign a word, when you are going to assign any sentence with the spaces, then it can be considered as a string type. It can be considered as a string type. In short, always keep in mind, string means what? String means set of alphabets. And what comes in alphabet? The symbol comes in alphabet, spaces comes in alphabet, even enter also comes inside the alphabets. Okay, so set of alphabets we can use under the string data type. Okay, next data type is Boolean data type. Boolean means when you get the output in a true or false. If the two possible values either true or false, then that type of data is called Boolean data type. All relational conditions, logical conditions, always gives output in true or false. Okay, so what type of logical conditions? Just I'm telling you this simply. If I say 4 less than 5 is equal to what? Okay, your answer will be either true or false. Here 4 is less than 5, so your answer will be true. Okay, means when your answer will be either in true or false, then that type of data is called Boolean data type. Boolean type. Okay, so Boolean type always gives answer in true or false. So Boolean type gives answers in true or false or 0 and 1. 0 is considered as a false, 1 is considered as a true. So in these two values, you will get the output in Boolean type. Next is infinity. Okay, next here is infinity. Okay, here is infinity. Division by 0 gives you an special value, that is infinity. Means suppose any number divisible by 0, any number divisible by 0 gives you infinity. Okay, so infinity is one of the data type. If any answer is not countable, if any answer is not countable, then that answer is considered as infinity. Okay, so infinity is a one type of data, so that you can consider as a one data type. Now fifth is null. Null means nothing. In JavaScript, when a value doesn't have any value, when there is a nothing is assigned, or when we are not assigning any content to the variable, then that variable is called as null. Or you can say if the variable is empty, means it doesn't have anything to store, then that variable is called as null variable. Okay, so null is the next data type by which we can assign nothing to any variable. Okay, and last is undefined. JavaScript returns undefined when variables which declared but not assigned. Then Java interpreter shows that it is undefined. Okay, means suppose you are using a variable. Okay, suppose you are using a variable. For example, I'm showing you. Here is a var, I'm using a var a. Here is a declaring, and I just ask what a is equal to. Okay, I haven't defined it, but even though I forcefully ask to computer what is inside the a, computer will not answer me because we haven't defined anything to a. So we will get a error, or we will get the output undefined variable. Okay, undefined variables means we haven't defined it, even though we are going to ask what is inside a. Okay, so this type of error gives in form of undefined. So undefined is one of the data type. So how many data types we have studied? Six data types. Undefined means the value which is not defined, but even forcefully we are going to ask what stored inside it, then it is undefined. Null value means nothing inside the variable, means if there is a zero stored, zero content means empty content we are going to store inside the variable, then it can be said null. Okay, if you say x is equal to 0, then it is also sometimes called as a null variable. Okay, next is fourth one is infinity. Infinity means when uncountable answer if you are getting, then you can say data type is infinity. If your answer is getting true or false, then you can say it is a boolean type. If you are getting answer, or if you are going to store any set of alphabets, then that type will be string. If you are going to store in a number, then that type is called number data type. Okay, so these are the data type we can use to assign a value to variable. Okay, so all these types we have to study, or all these types in your study. Okay, but in 12th standard we are not going to use this simple thing. This is just for your knowledge, that these are the data type that we have to use in JavaScript. Okay, so here we will end our session. Okay, we will continue the next part in the next session. Okay, till now we have studied data types and variables. Next, in next session we are going to study different operators which we can use in JavaScript. Okay, so for our revision it will take more 3 to 4 lectures or sessions. Then we will come on our 12th standard syllabus. Okay, this is the syllabus of 11th standard. Just we are revising what we are studying in 11th standard. Okay, after this revision we will get study the advanced part of the JavaScript. Understood? Okay, now tell me if you have any doubt about the session. Yes, do you have any doubt in this session? Okay, so we will conduct the next session on tomorrow is Sunday. Is it possible on tomorrow? Okay, so I will conduct the remaining portion, means next portion or next part, on tomorrow at 3 p.m. Okay, so join it tomorrow. So tomorrow is a session. I'm saying alternate days, but on Monday we can't possible to conduct the lectures because of light problem. Okay, so we will conduct in spite of Monday on Sunday. Okay, so tomorrow will be your lecture at 3 p.m.